Yo, what's up, guys? None other than Sarukage, and I'm here back with, part 1, or possibly even the movie 2, What If Deku Was the God of Quirks? Now, with that out of the way, actually, I lied. There's a few things. Izuku is gonna have the power of every quirk, and he also has the power to create new ones and essentially take away your quirk. Like, similar to All For One, except he doesn't take your quirk, he literally destroys it. And you'll never ever be able to get it back. With that out of the way, and a few appearance changes. Yeah, my bad, I forgot to mention that. Anyways, we would see Izuku just being born, Inko in labor. She'll be letting out screams of agony, and this is where Izuku would be born. Now, from here on, pretty sure his name's Hayashi or Hisashi, I forget his name, but Izuku's dad would look at Izuku. He would say, "Oh, what the hell?" Looking at Izuku. Two of his eyes, one of his eyes would be yellow, and the other would be red. His hair would be a bright red. As he would look at her, he would then ask, "Did you cheat on me?" As you say, "No. In fact, my grandpa, he has red hair, and he has red hair, and I'm pretty sure my mom, on my mom's side, pretty sure her folks have yellow hair, not yellow hair, yellow eyes." But the red one. Suddenly, a doctor would speak up, saying that could be associated to his quirk. We really don't know. But aside from a few appearance changes, this is, and Hisashi or Izuku's dad, I forget his name, thinking that Inko cheated, everything would basically go the same. Now, this is where we would do a time skip. We would see 6-year-old Izuku. He would be walking down. This essentially, when Bakugo was marching in the anime with his lackeys? Yeah, that's essentially what was happening, except Izuku was next to Bakugo, not behind him. He wouldn't be saying, "Wow, your quirk is so amazing." No. He would just be, how do I say this? He would essentially be the cooler of the two. In fact, all of Bakugo's lackeys were his friends. In fact, they even liked Izuku a lot more than Bakugo. In fact, Izuku was best friends with the whole school. Everyone liked him. He was a popular kid. And because of this, Bakugo despised him for this. He had a hint of jealousy. So when he first manifested his quirk, which is only like 3 days before, he would have tried to bully. Not Bakugo, Izuku, but the whole school had started hating him for this. But not Naruto. Izuku would then clear it up and make Bakugo not be hated by the school. Because of this, Bakugo can't really do anything to Izuku without it looking like an accident. Anyways, Izuku will be walking aside Bakugo, his hands in his pockets, as he'll be zoning out, as he'll be thinking about a couple things. He'll be thinking about my bad, I had to yawn. Hold on a sec. I'm back. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Anyways, he'll be thinking about how he could essentially... He was thinking about how strange he looks, and also how he keeps on having these strange dreams of being able to take away people's quirks and create new ones. And being given the title of the god of quirks, Izuku wouldn't think much of it until, well, Bakugo would seemingly trip, and push Izuku to the ground. No, pushing him off this ledge, causing Izuku to slam into concrete. Yeah, below, not concrete. Well, it might be, I don't really know. As Izuku would then wake up in a haze. His eyes would be wide, as his eyes would be glowing. Yeah, they would be glowing, a brighter color of what they already were. Izuku would get up off the ground, looking, as there wouldn't be no blood, no. In fact, the blood would seep back into Izuku, healing up. He would then say, what the fuck? Suddenly, he would have a massive headache. He would fall into the ground, yell out a blood-curdling scream, as Izuku would be in so much pain. Izuku would be on the ground writhing in pain. He would be surrounded by a group of his friends. They would all be asking Izuku, "Are you okay? Are you hurt? Izuku," as he'd be trying to shake him. As he'd be like, does anyone have a phone?" As another kid would speak up saying, Yeah, I'm calling my mom right now." This is where Izuku would pass out. Suddenly, he would awake in this void. This white void with a single black orb in front of him. Izuku would looking around, only to see nothing but white. He'd say, Where am I? Am I dead?" As suddenly this orb would speak, saying, in a kind-hearted tone, "No, not at all. In fact, you're in the void." He would say, What the fuck is what is the void? The void? Well, the void, it's a plane of existence beyond your comprehension. In fact, you're only able to see the 3 dimensions that you humans are made up of. See, I am a 10th dimensional being. In fact, I am the only being of my kind. And you? Just because I was bored, and I picked a random human to become the god of the, plane of existence, to someday possibly give me a challenge, as I am a war god. I like to fight, and I like to see people battle each other. And, of course, I made it to where I couldn't take away your power, or else that would be no fun. And I want to see you hone your skills, and someday give me a challenge. And I will fight you when you can fulfill my desire to give me a worthy fight, to even give me a challenge, to get me the opportunity to taste defeat. Izuku would be like, what the hell are you talking about? This is where Laura would say, "Don't worry about it." Anyways, I've changed your genetics, making you non-human. Izuku would say, What? What the hell are you talking about?" He would say, "You'll see." Suddenly, Izuku would wake up in a hospital bed, strapped up to IV tubes, and his heart monitor, and strapped up to a heart monitor. He will be surrounded by doctors running tests on him. Inko, with a worried expression on her face, would say, Izuku, doctor would be saying, he's awake. Izuku would say, what happened? Inko would say, Izuku, with tears streaming down her face, hugging Izuku. Izuku would say, oh, what happened? She'd say, what, you fell on, Bakugo stumbled and accidentally pushed you off on this ledge, and you fell into concrete. They said you got up for a second, and your wounds healed, like the blood seeped back into you, and then you started writhing in pain and passed out, and your heart had stopped once you got into a hospital bed. They tried to resuscitate you, but they couldn't, and then your heart started to beat again. Say, how long have I been out? One of the doctors would say, you've been out for 3 hours. He would say, oh my god. And then this is where Inko would say, another thing, just look at you. He'd say, what are you talking about? He would then stand up, only to see himself 5'11". He would say, what the fuck? What the hell? With Andy, Izuku would notice that he essentially has a chiseled physique, that rivaling of Greek gods, being in beyond peak condition, an impossible physique that us normal humans can't achieve. But, well, in the world of My Hero, and in the world of this what if, it is. Izuku would be stunned. He would say, oh my god. As Izuku would then realize that wasn't a dream. He really edited his genetics. Suddenly, Izuku would grab his head. Suddenly, his eyes would pulsate as a heap of knowledge on how to use his abilities, and every ability that he has would flow into his head. He would then say, oh my god. This is where Izuku would then smirk. Before saying, he really did it. As a smile would appear on his face, looking up to the heavens. As he would think to himself, I'll give you a real challenge one day. A challenge so great that not even you would be able to beat it. War God. Suddenly, Izuku, well... My bad. Suddenly, Izuku would then feel Inko saying, Izuku, what are you mumbling about? If I said feel, my bad, I meant hear. Izuku would then turn, looking at his mom, saying, don't worry about it. Can we go to the quirk doctor? This is where you should say, of course, Izuku. We would cut 3 days later to see Izuku in the quirk doctor's office. The quirk doctor would walk in with a shocked expression on his face, saying, well, Inko, your son here, he, Jesus Christ, oh my god, it looks like he has every quirk. She would then say, what are you talking about? We ran tests and he fit all of them. He has every quirk. Oh my god, this is insane. This is. Oh my god. Suddenly, news reporters would rush inside, and paparazzi, he'd be surrounded. As the news would break the headlines saying, "Kid born with all quirks." The world would be in astonishment. As Izuku would be an instant, how do I say this? An instant, um, world wonder, I guess. Izuku would be world famous at this point. Essentially, being offered millions, if not billions of dollars to go places and do interviews. And from then on, Izuku would no longer be poor. Nah. Bro would be living that good life. I'm talking yachts, mansions, anything he wanted he could buy at this point. But this is where we would cut to the start of the anime. Izuku would just be walking down the street, his hood over his face, and he'd be wearing, those black COVID masks we all wore. Yeah, that's what he'd be wearing. Suddenly, an explosion happened. This is where we'd see the villain arise out of the smoke, looking around frantically, trying to see if any heroes were around. When he noticed there wasn't, he would jump out the bridge, rushing at the people. As you would say, "I need one of you," as you try to grab Izuku. Izuku would let him, as his hood would fall off his head. As the man would freeze, everyone would be able to notice that this is Izuku. As with his red hair and his yellow and red eyes, you could easily tell this was Izuku. Izuku would take off his mask for saying, I didn't want to get noticed. Suddenly people would be recording Izuku as he'd say, he has no idea how badly he fucked up. As Izuku would vanish, reappearing behind the behind the villain. The villain would now just be in shock and in fear. He would say, please, I didn't. Suddenly, before he could finish his sentence, the man would have been kicked into the air, as Izuku would have kicked him in his family jewels, to say the least. Suddenly, wood would sprout up from the ground, surrounding the man, strangling him. As blue flames would start burning the vines, burning the man. But these flames wouldn't hurt, no, or more like they wouldn't do damage. They would essentially just make the man feel like he was burning, but he wouldn't be. He'd be begging for Izuku to please stop, I'm sorry. He'd be saying. Suddenly Izuku would drop the man. He would now he would surrender, walking over to the police, being cuffed, as well. Izuku would have aided in a way to essentially take away. I lied. To essentially make it to where my bad. Aided in a way to where there was a special police unit tasked for taking down villains if the heroes couldn't, arrive in time, as they would possess powers, temporary quirks, if you will, that these vials could produce. Nah, I don't want to get that into the hands of the villains. I lied. A special unit tasked with taking down villains that have special bullets, like armor-piercing bullets, to take down villains. Anyways, the villain would surrender. He'd be handcuffed, placed in a police car. Suddenly, heroes would surround Izuku, the heroes we see in canon. They'd say, "Wow, you're really Izuku. You're you're just huge. At this point in time, I forgot to mention, Izuku would be 6', 6'11". Nah, I don't want him to be Blackbeard tall. He would be 6'5". Nah. 6'7". Yeah. 6'7". As heroes at this point would be looking up at him. Giant Girl would also be in her small form. I forgot to mention that. Izuku would say, yeah, I really should get going though. As this is where paparazzi would swarm Izuku, taking pictures, as Izuku would say, I gotta go. As he'd fly up into the air, flying away. As Izuku would do this, he would break the sound barrier. This is where, well, we would cut to see Izuku, well, trying out for UA. Izuku wouldn't even have to. As well, I forgot to mention the sludge villain. Yeah, All Might would have taken care of that. I forgot to mention. Yeah, my bad. Anyways, huge trial for UA. Izuku wouldn't even need to take the entrance exams, as well, he would essentially, how do I say this? He would essentially have offers from every hero school. And I mean this, every hero school. I cannot emphasize that enough. Every hero school. Overseas. Everywhere would want Izuku. My bad, I had to move around. Alright, my bad. Like, everywhere would want Izuku. But, news would break headlines. Izuku is going to UA High. And this is where we'd cut to the first day of class. Before Izuku could even walk inside, he would be swarmed by press. And I'm in fangirls and people who wanted pictures and who wanted to meet the famous Izuku. Izuku would have to be essentially escorted inside, as he would have been swarmed by people wanting to take pictures. And essentially just swarmed. Izuku, of course, like in canon, would have been assigned to class 1A, if I remember correctly. As soon as he would walk inside, the whole class would just be, well, frozen. Suddenly all the girls would get up running over to Izuku, asking for pictures. Izuku would smile, noticing one in particular, Momo Yayorozu. He would say, sure, you all can have pictures. As the boys would be envious at this point. Bakugo, in particular, would be envious. Bakugo would stand up saying, hey, Deku, you remember me? As Izuku would have transferred schools. Yeah, he would have transferred schools. So after elementary school, he would have gone to a different middle school. And a different middle school. And yeah, that's basically it. Anyways, let's say, Bakugo. He would walk over to Bakugo. This is where Bakugo would say, well, Deku, it's been a long time, as the class would be in shock. They'd say, wait, you two know each other? Izuku would smile, saying, yeah, we're friends. Well, I'm not sure we're still friends now, but yeah, we were friends at a point. Yeah, we even went to the same school. This is where Bakugo would then say, yeah, by the way, I never apologized for how I acted back then. I was kind of jealous of you, and I pushed you on purpose. Izuku would just look at him before saying, I know. I said, wait, what? You know? He would say, yeah, one of my quirks is tapping into other people's memory. And, well, yeah, I kind of, saw you trip on her purpose and push me. Izuku would then say, not Izuku. Yeah, Izuku would then say, but don't worry about it. Without you, I probably wouldn't have awakened my quirk. At that point, Izuku would then sit down. Suddenly, Ida would walk over to Deku. He would say, Deku, I mean, Izuku Midoriya. I, personally, am impressed by your quirk. But, you really shouldn't go around flaunting it like that. Rolling up in a Rolls Royce and being escorted by black cars. You really shouldn't flaunt like that. Izuku would say, What the fuck? Do you not know how hard it is to live a life like mine? I would say, yes. Well, no. Because our lives aren't hard at all. He would say, How? With a quirk like mine, villains are envious. They always try to kill me. But I always have to defend myself and beat them up. I mean, for crying out loud. I've had to fight All for One multiple times. And that nigga is just trash. I mean, Deku wouldn't actually say all that. He would just say, I've had to fight villains all my life. But yeah, I'd over-exaggerate it. But yeah. Ida would say, so you really need all that security? He would say, yes. If I don't have the security, then I would be swarmed and potentially killed by people that don't like me. Well, not that they could kill me, but I'm just saying. This is where Izuku then say, and if you don't mind me, before standing up, he'd walk over to Momo. As Momo would just be looking at him, he'd say, as she starts to blush, saying, yeah, Izuku? He'd then say, well, when you walked up to me and asked me for a picture, I thought you were kind of cute. This is where Momo would say, you did? And he'd say, yeah. And I was wondering if I could get, yes. As Izuku would then say, oh, really? As she would put her phone number in his phone. Bakugo would be jealous at this point. Izuku would smirk, or saying, well, I'll call you. As he'd sit back down. This is where Aizawa would stand up. As a class would think he was a giant caterpillar. I couldn't speak for a second. As he'd say, calm down, class. I'm not a caterpillar. And it took you 8 seconds to quiet down. That is a little too long. Make it 1 millisecond next time, or else it'll be your asses. Anyways, put these on. As Ida would say, what about orientation? This is where Izuku would say, oh my god, this guy. As he would say, I don't have time for that. Just put these on and meet me outside. Izuku would put on the gym clothes as they would walk outside. But the girls would essentially be drooling over Izuku. As you could see the outline of his muscles through his gym clothes. So yeah, they would be drooling. I forgot to mention, the girls be absolutely envious. They would absolutely be jealous. And even started hating Momo for this. Because she got to put her phone number and the only person in the world to have every quirk's phone and the most famous guy in the whole school. Aizawa then explained everything. This is where Izuku would walk up first, as you've been first in the exam. Izuku would then grab onto the, he would then grab on to the ball, holding it tightly, as he'd smirk, saying, "You really want me to put all my full power into this?" As he would say, yes, as he would say, "You do realize that would rupture everyone's eardrums and cause unprecedented earthquakes throughout the world, right? And potentially cause volcanoes you don't want to erupt to explode, right?" This is where Aizawa would think about this, saying, "You're right. Use around 10% of your power." He would say, "Are you sure you want to do that? That'll basically have the same effect on a lesser scale." He would say, "Use 1% of your power." He would say, "Okay." As you throw the ball as hard as he could. Well, not as hard as he could, but at 1%. As all you would hear is this ball break through the sound barrier. Breaking through, going Mach 30, no. Mach 1 trillion. Flying through outer space. Flying through the galaxy. Piercing through planets in its way. As it fly throughout the Milky Way galaxy and into the multiverse. Piercing through galaxies, universes, and everything beyond. Izuku would smirk. I would say, yeah. That should be good, right? The whole class would just be dumbfounded, saying, "I didn't know he was this powerful." Aizawa would have his jaw on the floor. I would say, "Oh my, you sure that was 1%? As I forgot to mention, he would have got infinite. Of course, Izuku would score 100% on all of them. This is where we would cut to later, to see Izuku in his bedroom. He would say, while on the phone to Momo, so, "Where do you want to go?" Momo would reply, saying, well, I do like this really good place in France." Izuku would say, "Sounds good." This is where Izuku would fly, breaking through, essentially arriving there instantly at Momo's door. He would ring it. As her father would answer, his eyes would light up, saying, "You're Izuku." As you say, "I'm really a big fan." Izuku would then say, oh, really?" As you say, "So why are you here anyways?" As you say, "Oh, I'm here for Momo." As his eyes would widen up, he'd say, "You're here for Momo? Oh, that's right, you two are in the same classroom." Are you two going on a date?" He would say, yeah, I'm taking her out to her favorite France restaurant, I think she said. He'd say, "Oh my god. Are you two gonna get married?" He'd say, possibly, if everything goes well." As his father would close the door. I mean, not his father, her father would close the door. He would then yell out, or no, all you would hear behind the door were screams of joy. He would open it before saying, "Come inside." As he'd say, "Momo, Izuku's here." Suddenly we would hear feet running down the stairs. I mean, running throughout that. Feet. Feet running through the house as Momo would run down the stairs before stopping, saying, Are you really here already?" Suddenly her brothers and sisters would come out of their rooms. They would run down the stairs as well. They would all essentially surround Izuku, along with, I forgot to mention, Momo's mother. This is where Izuku would say, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you." Her sisters would just be, their mouths drooling over Izuku. The brothers, I'm not really sure if Momo has brothers and sisters, but I'm just making this up, okay? Anyways. And her brothers would essentially have posters of Izuku and figures, like how Izuku was in the canon with All Might. They'll say, can we take a picture with you? And can you find our All Might toys? Izuku would then smirk for saying, our Izuku toys. Not All Might. Izuku would smirk before saying, sure. As he'd sign their posters, their toys, everything he could. As the girls would not the girl. Yeah, Momo's sisters would try to steal Izuku for themselves, but Izuku would not be interested. This is where he'd grab Momo as he'd fly to France. This is where they would have a pretty nice date, as while Izuku would fly her back to her house. This is where Izuku would go upstairs with Momo, as well. In the words of his author, they would start studying, doing biology, math, doing all the subjects. As Izuku would have got D for Dixlent, yeah. And essentially, afterwards, afterwards, after they were done studying, Izuku would, just be sitting in bed, He would just say, oh my god, I can't believe we did that on the first date. Mom would say, so is there gonna be more? He would say, of course, where do you want to go next? Now, this is where I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna cut to the USJ. Yeah. Nah, my bad. I'm gonna cut to the hero versus villain fights. I'm just gonna say it happens the next day. Anyways, Izuku would get his hero costume. His hero costume would be... How do I say this? It would essentially be a, what do you call that? My bad. It would be a white sleeveless cloak. Yeah, a white sleeveless hooded cloak, my bad. As Izuku would also have his staff. Yeah, a black staff. This is where Izuku would say, oh, okay, this is nice. As he'd also have a symbol on the back. As his symbol would his symbol essentially would be, what's that thing called? Shit, what's it called? Dragon, my bad. It would be a dragon. How do I forget what a dragon's called, bro? Oh my god. It'll be a black dragon. As Izuku would have already been thinking about this. He wanted his name to be Black Dragon. Izuku would then say, okay, I'm ready. This is where Izuku would walk out. As he'd just be standing, standing there waiting for his matches to get announced. His match would read as follows. Izuku Midoriya, Momo Yaoyorozu versus Bakugo and Ida. Yeah, I just changed out Uraraka because we can just forget about her. Yeah, we can forget about her. And Bakugo hearing this, he was just like, shit, we're fucked. Damn. This is where the class would just mutter, saying, I feel bad for them. As Momo and Izuku would be standing next to each other. Izuku would then say, so what are we gonna do tomorrow for our next date? As Momo would then say, Well, I mean, can we... What should we do? He would then say, since you don't have an idea, how about I have an idea? As he whispered to Momo. Momo would then blush. I should say, yeah. As Izuku would get a devious smile on his face for saying, well, I'll deal with this quickly. As soon as the match would start, it would be over. In an instant, Izuku would just appear, teleporting in their room, touching the bomb. Bakugo and Ito would just be in awe. They would say, what? As he collapsed to the ground, knocked out. This is where All Might would just be in awe. He would then say, All Might, are you okay? This is where we cut to All Might, his jaw on the ground, his mouth agape. Hero team wins. Oh my, he would just be thinking to himself, oh my god, that kid, he's more powerful than me. My prime. Jesus. That kid, is he even human? Izuku, hearing his thoughts, would just smile. This is where we'd cut to the USJ. Of course, Momo and Izuku, their, how do I say this? Their relationship would go viral. I'm talking merchandise being made, breaking headlines, breaking news everywhere. It'll be all everyone's talking about, especially at UA. Momo would be getting death glares from all the girls, and well, the boys would be giving Izuku death glares as well. This is where we'd see, Izuku just chilling like a villain, looking down at all the villains. Before they could even get teleported, Izuku would have... Oh, what was that dude's name? The fucking purple dude. You guys know what I'm talking about. Teleporting dude. I forget his name, but you guys know what I'm talking about. By the throat. He would just say, nah, I already know what you're gonna do. I have future sight. As he'd slam him into the ground before pummeling him. As Izuku thought he was knocked out, he would do one last thing, teleporting all the villains there. Izuku would just look at his class, giving them a smile. All the villains would say, oh shit, I didn't know Izuku was gonna be here. Oh shit. Oh fuck. They would just be losing their minds. Suddenly they would all collapse to the ground. This is where Izuku would just say, damn. Y'all really suck ass. This is where Izuku would then say, anyways, that was pretty easy. As Inomo was since all for one new, well, of course he didn't disclose to anyone else that Izuku would be there except for Shigaraki and Kirozu? I forget his name. You guys know what I'm talking about, the purple dude. Those two. Because of that, he made the Nomu around 1 million times stronger than what it was supposed to do. As this Nomu was supposed to kill Izuku Midoriya, not All Might. Anyways, Izuku would then walk up to Momo before kissing her. Anyways, this would go viral. Izuku Midoriya defeats all the villains, leaving not one. Hold on a sec. My bad. Didn't kill every villain. My fault. He had eliminated roughly, I'm gonna say hella villains. Anyways, Izuku would then pick up Momo as they would leave. Now, this is where we would cut to the USJ as there's oh, never mind. How could I forget? How could I forget what I was gonna do? Izuku would have gotten Momo pregnant. Yup. 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 After Izuku found out. Nah, I'm gonna just describe the scene for you. Izuku would have gotten a phone call as he was at dinner with his mom. He'd have just been chowing down on some really good ass food. I'm gonna say some Indian curry because that shit be smacking, bruh. God. He'll pick up the phone and say, "Yeah." You say, all Momo would say is, I'm pregnant." Izuku's eyes would widen. I say, what? I say, I'm, I'm pregnant. You say, are you serious? As Mama, that's what happened. He would look at her, and he'd say what you just said again, as he put her on speaker. I'm pregnant. Moana Inko's eyes widen. As well, Izuku would be a father. Momo and Izuku would get married. News would break. Heroes would come to the wedding, including All Might. And this would be the most heavily guarded event in all of My Hero Academia. Guards would be everywhere. And I mean this, everywhere. Heroes, even though they were attending the wedding, would be on high alert. Heroes would also be placed as guards to protect them and to protect anyone at this event. As high-ranking officials, as Izuku would have met everyone, every high-ranking official, whether that's the president he essentially met basically all the top presidents. Including all the top presidents. Izuku would essentially, this event would be the most viewed event in all of My Hero. People all over the world will be watching. This will be streamed everywhere, even in the poorest of countries. They would find a way to watch this event. God, for crying out loud, monks would be watching this, as they would have pictured Izuku as Buddha. Anyways, Izuku would have gotten married to Momo. There's really not much more for me to say. This is where we cut to the the UA festival. We would see Izuku dressed in a black suit. He would walk up on stage before the event. He'd give a speech saying, "Well, everyone who has come today, I will not be participating in this event, as that would not be fair to all of you." Nobody could say anything, as this was true. There is no lie to it. This would be unfair. He would then say, "And because of this fact, I will be one of the commentators and spectators of this event. And on top of all that, I can't stay at UA." The instructors would say, "What? Midnight, my bad. Midnight would say, What are you talking about? What the hell? What are you talking about?" He would then look at Midnight, as you'd say, "Well, Principal Nezu gave me my hero license. I was able to graduate early." This is where Izuku would then hear an absolute erupt. Villains all over the world, after hearing this news, would just be, their timbers would be shivered, okay? They would be in absolute fear. They would be scared, as they should be. Izuku now has free reign to do whatever the fuck he wants. Izuku a fucking pro hero now. And with this out of the way, Izuku would say, anyways, give it your all. And I am rooting for you. As you then float up off the ground before flying over to the instructor booth. I mean, not the instructor booth. He would fly over to the commentator booth as you'd watch the matches commentating on all this. Izuku, well, this would break the internet. Izuku would now be a hero. Izuku virtually would replace All Might. Oh, and I forgot to mention, All Might would have found his successor, aka Bakugo. As I'm not gonna lie to you, I just really want Bakugo to be one for all successor. With this out of the way, Izuku from this point on, and yes, I'm ending the video off here. From this point on, would beat every villain that he came into contact. Well, actually, I can't end the video off yet. He would take down all the villains. He would beat All for One with ease. Every villain that he could find. Well, he could find anyone, as he has because he has every quirk and he can create new ones. I forgot to mention, he would have took away All for One's quirk and essentially would have created a new quirk. Rewrite. Actually, I think that's could possibly already be a quirk, I can't remember. As you essentially rewrite All for One. Rewriting it to where he was a good guy and he was a hero. Virtually erasing all of All for One's memory and replacing his face. Rewriting all of his memories to false ones of him being a good person. Rewriting every person on Earth's memories to All for One being, well, the number 2 hero and making Endeavor number 3, essentially pushing everyone up. Anyways, Izuku would have been known as the best hero of all time, going down in history. Oh, I forgot to mention, Izuku's child would have inherited all of his quirks. Yes, I mean all of them. As Deku essentially would have created another version of One for All. I was about to say All for One, Jesus. One for All. As Izuku would, well, suddenly be transported to the White Void. Except this time, he'll be able to see the black ball he once couldn't. You say, today's the day, huh? Izuku with a smirk on his face. As, well, the god of war. He would say, yes. As the god of war would have long, luscious, red hair, going down to his waist, his eyes being a scarlet red, as he'd be dressed in a black hoodie, and, some sweatpants, because, we're not doing no old-fashioned war god. Hell no, we doing some new war god. He'd say, so, are you ready? Izuku would smirk, summoning his staff. His staff would now crack, breaking, revealing a spear. The spear would be coated in a, how do I say this? The spear would be rewritten. Being able to shoot thunderbolts. No, being able to shoot every element out of it. Propelling it to unprecedented speeds and power. Amplifying it to unprecedented levels. Rivaling that of the god in terms of raw power. And this weapon in real world currency, in US dollar currency, will go for around $8 million, no, 8 Googleplexes. If you don't know how big a fucking Googleplex is, just look it up. It's huge. It is absolutely monstrous. Anyways, Izuku would then say, now, are you ready? As the war god would say, as ever. The two would rush at each other. The war god would just use his hand. As the two would clash, sparks would fly. Shockwaves would be sent out. As the void would crack, breaking into a million pieces. As they'd be floating above the multiverse. The two would be clashing back and forth, sending absolutely unprecedented levels of power throughout the universe. These two clashes would meet Earth, causing the Earth to shake. This is where Izuku would get the information he needed, finding the god's weak spot. He would then take this opportunity to dodge one of the war god's attacks, grabbing him by his wrist, flipping him on his back, as he would then stab the war god in the left side of his back. The war god would let out a scream of pain. Suddenly, this yellow charge. How do I say this? Like his veins would start glowing yellow. And he'd say, I forgot. You can create quirks. And you have everyone. You've beaten me. Looks like you've become the new god. It's funny. One more blow or one more clash between us, we would destroy the multiverse, and it had to have been rewritten. This is where Izuku would say goodbye, as the war god would break into 1 trillion pieces. Izuku would then appear back where he left previously, in front of Momo and his child. His child would have long red hair like his father, and he would have his mother's black eyes. He would be dressed in a scarlet outfit, as the three would watch the sun set. As well, there really isn't anything more I could really add to this. With that out of the way, it is none other than Sarukage. And well, I'm out. Peace.